When you're ready to start the CNC around the edges, get onto your computer and look for this icon down below. It looks like a red feather. It'll say Aspire. Click on it, open it up. You're going to create a new file. Next, you need to measure your top very accurately. Now my top ended up being 20 inches in one direction and 20 and 1/16 in the other. So they weren't quite the same. They were close. Pick the small, if they're different, pick the smaller dimension. So mine was 20. So I'm going to make my top 20 wide, 20 high, and then mine is 3/4 of an inch thick. It's actually a little bit thicker, but that's fine. I'm just going to leave it at 3/4, and that's what I want you to use. I'm going to use the material surface, so it's already there, and center justified, not one of the corners. I want it in the middle, and then hit OK. Next, what we need to do is we're going to draw an arc that's slightly inside. I don't want to make it round, I just want a slight arc to make it a little bit rounded. The problem is I can't just start from the edge of the board. I need to start a little outside of it. Otherwise, the curvature of the bit, you're going to see it on the corner. It's hard to explain, but go with me on this. Zoom into the corner. You're going to draw a line. That's the second one down. Click on the corner. As you get closer, you should snap to that corner. Click on it, and then go down until that L, that means length, reaches 0.5. I want to go 1/2 inch. Click, and now I'm going to go outside to the left in this case until that says 0.5 again. Click. Now I'm going to hit the right button on the mouse, and that goes away. All right, so that's one. I need to zoom into the other side and do exactly the same thing. Line. Click on the corner and go down to 0.5. There it is. Click and then go to the right, 0.5, and now right click and that's gone. Okay, then we can zoom back out and get a little tighter. All right, now we're going to make an arc. That arc is right here. The next line over, it says draw arc. You're going to click on the end point of the line you just drew, drag it to the center, and you'll see that it snaps to the middle, and then to the end point of that other line right there, and you're done. There's the arc. Just close that out. We're not doing a huge round, just a bit of a curvature for some decoration. Now the line is done and it's still highlighted. If I clicked off, it would unhighlight. I want to highlight it. Hit the blue button under the word View to go to the Toolpath, Tool Operations menu. And all I want to do is follow that line. That's the very first one. It's called Profile Toolpath. And now we're going to fill in some of these blanks. Start depth is 0. Cut depth. How deep do we want to cut? I do not want to go all the way through. So if my lid is 3/4, I'm going to go 5/8. That is 0.625. That is 5/8 of an inch deep. It's not all the way through, and that's important for later on. The tool we're going to use is not a V-bit. We want to select. We want to use what's called an end mill 1/4 inch. So end mill 0.25. Then go down and check some of the parameters. The pass depth, I want to be at 0.25. Sometimes it defaults to 0.125, and I want a little deeper. And then the spindle speed is the only other one we need to change. I'm going to put in about 19,000 RPMs. And that's it. Hit OK. Then we come down to vector, machine vectors. I want to go right on the line. I could go outside of it or inside. Outside of it might leave a bit of a flat spot here at the top, and I want to make sure to get it completely round. Inside, you'd actually be making your lid 1/4 of an inch smaller per pass. So by going on the line, I'm making your lid only 1/8 of an inch smaller than it should be, and that's okay. And that makes sure that we get a nice good arc for the cut. Then just go straight to the bottom where you don't need any of these other things and just hit calculate. And hit play. And once it's done, let me put this in the middle. You can see that it didn't go through for one, and that's good. We're going to shave that off later with a router, but I need this edge to be true, to be flat, if we're going to do more than one side. But it did make it slightly shorter, which is exactly what I wanted. So that's done. That's what we want. Close that out. First, go to File, Save As, and I want you to save it on the desktop. Call it your name, Mr. E. Hit Save. Now we're going to create the G code. That's at the bottom right corner. It says Save Toolpath. We want this to be highlighted, output all toolpaths to one file. There's only one file, so this isn't a big deal. And then sometimes if that's not checked, it'll say no visible toolpaths. It just means you haven't actually checked the toolpath that you want it to do. There, and now it sees it, sure enough, nmil 0.25, that's correct. And then this right here, legacy 3-axis CV. It should default to this. If it doesn't, there's a whole bunch of them to pick from, but it should say legacy 3-axis CV arcs inch. Then we save the toolpath. You should have received a thumb drive from my desk, and that will come up down here below. Mine says USB, it may say removable drive or something like that. Click on it and call it your name, and then save. That is your G code that you're going to take to the CNC machine.